Welcome back. Today we are painting a landscape. I'll start with painting the sky. Um, Also, I'm not wetting the sky because the size is very small. This is a scene from, I think this is a scene from Alberta, Canada. I picked it up from internet and I'm not going to paint it as is. I have removed a lot of details from the reference photo, if you see. So there's a very little bit sky here. This is Prussian blue in the hills. So this is how we'll go. We'll paint these hills. We're going to wet this whole area. We're going to paint the hills. And then there is one line of tall trees which we will paint in a muted green color, which I'll be mixing from Prussian blue and lemon yellow. And also I'm going to use a little bit permanent red in that green mix so that it becomes a little bit muted. So we are going to use these three colors only: lemon yellow, Prussian blue and permanent red. So we are going to paint this line of tree with a bit dark color, and then we are going to paint the lighter one here with bright yellow green, and then we'll come to the foreground. I've removed all the details from the foreground. I've just kept this one small hut and the big house here, and then we'll paint a big tree in the front with dark colors, and then on the front we are going to paint some of the small dots for the flowers. So this is how we are going to do it. Also the the color on the hills, I'm not going to make it too dark because they're in the foreground. So I'm adding a little bit of black here. See here. So this is how the shade will look like. I'm adding some more water to it. Also in parallel I'm going to mix some more green, which is a darker green, with the same shades. I'm going to add red to this also, and this we will use for the shadow part of the hills. I'm just dropping some of the dark green here to give some shape to the hill. While this one dries a little bit, I'm going to come back and paint the hill on the right side. You see some trees on top of those hills. We'll paint those later in the second layer. So I've done nothing here. I've just simply dropped some dark green, which we mixed with a little bit of red, because it is not a the hills are far away. I'm going to drop some yellow where I see some highlights. I'm going to mix some more green. This is the same green which we mixed earlier. So wherever we see some trees on top of the hill, I'm dropping some green there. Also, I'm using that green to highlight the difference between the two hills. What I'm going to do, I'm going to lift up some colors from here. So I'm just showing the impression of the trees on top here. Just a little bit and not too much. And we'll do that later to these parts. When these parts are dry, we will. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking the same color and I'm giving one more layer here, but we will retain some of the highlights in the back side where the hills are ending. So we have made some midland here where there is no so we don't need to worry. I'm just merging these edges here so that there are no hard edges behind the trees. So all this is going to get covered because we'll have the high trees here, so not all the details will be visible. One more thing I will do is I'm going to take some yellow and mix a very little bit of green there, and I'm going to paint these areas just to show that these are plain fields there far away, whether they are farmlands or they are some fields. Just a little bit of highlight I have given here. I'm going to wet this area for the trees. I'm going to put some water. I have mixed this green color with the blue and with the Prussian blue and lemon yellow. I'm going to give a little bit of trees with this one, and I'm not putting too much pigment. I'm just giving some rough tree shapes. So we'll be doing a lot of negative painting here because you see all this here, it is just looks like a wash and don't look like trees. So we will do that later to dry. Meanwhile, what we are going to do with the same green color, I'm going to paint this portion here. I'm going to take some yellow. Also, while it dries, I just want to give some shadows here. Meanwhile, what we can do, we can give a wet and wet wash on this part here. So I have taken some yellow. So this has dried here, and we are going to paint the trees now. I have mixed the same dark green with Prussian blue, lemon yellow, and a bit of red. I'll paint one or two and then I'll speed it up to save some time. This is the first layer for the trees, and later we'll paint one more layer of trees here. I mean on the same trees. We will darken one side and then we will just lighten up the left side will remain light, and then this side will become a bit darker. But this is, I'm just going to paint the first layer. So here I'm giving another layer on the trees in the back. Just to highlight their shape a bit. Also to reduce any hard edges, I'm just damping my brush and merging those little bit in places. We don't need to do this for all the trees, but some of them. And while this is drying, we will go back to the hills and then we will do some dry brushing there. So what I have done here, I have loaded my brush with paint. I have dabbed it on the tissue paper and then I am holding it like this, and I'm going to pull some texture here like this to show that we have trees standing here. And then we have some small group of trees here. So I think we are done on the back side of the hill, and then now we are going to start on the bottom here. So I have thinned down the green further before touching the trees here. So mostly I will be doing that with a dry brush, because those trees are very small leaves. So here the brush should not be very dry or very wet. It has to be a mix. So what we are going to do, I'm going to take the same red and mix a bit of green in that, which we mixed earlier. So it's a dull red, and I'm going to paint the front here. Also with the same green, I'm going to pull up this with a very wet wash here, which looks like a road. So I'm painting some wet on dry details here to show the ground near to the house. Also in my paint spray I have mixed a bit of Prussian blue, and I have made it very thin, and I'm going to give some of the tree shade here. A bright green, and then I'm going to splatter some yellow color here. So I'm doing the same thing with green here again. So we are going to add some details here with a black liner. Once it has dried, I'm going to mix very dark green now, and I'm going to paint the front tree. I just want to give some more green here, because it looks very white to me. Yeah, I think we are done. So this is how it looks. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you paint it, let me know. You can post the link in the comments if you want me to paint some specific landscapes. Post it in the comments. And I think we are done for today. See you next time. Till then, bye bye, take care.